What's going on YouTube? KG4FJC in the cold shack this morning. Yeah, I've got a hat on, but it's not the hat. It's flipping cold out here. It is 56.8 degrees out here. No, it doesn't sound cold, but it is 23 degrees outside. Started off at like 16 this morning. I had the heater on, but it's just a little electric space heater. You might even hear it running in the background. Whoa, let's turn that down. Don't want to hear that. Anyway, what we're going to do today is we're going to go over, we're still doing some Allstar stuff. We're going to go back to the duplexer stuff, but I wanted to do this. What we're going to do is we're going to take a $10 USB sound card that you can get off of Amazon, and we're going to modify it so that you can make a interface for Allstar. This is the device that goes between the rig and the Pi. So this does your audios and your PTT and COS. It does the same thing as my favorite, the Masters Communications RA interfaces, the RA35 in particular. It does the same thing, doesn't have quite as many bells and whistles, but it works. And I mean, come on, it's a $10 sound file. You add one resistor and do just a little bit of soldering, and you've got an interface. I mean, so anyway, what it looks like is, I can do this here. Oh, yeah, I've got a ring light, so you see the circles in my eyes. That's the ring light. So, but it makes me look gorgeous. So you got what you got. Anyway, the camera's there. My monitor 1 is there. My monitor 2 is over there. So I've got to look back and forth. So pardon me while I look away from y'all. Anyway, this is what we've got here. Get my little finger in there, and I'm gonna look at that monitor so I can see what I'm doing. This is the interface right here. All right, here's the USB side right here. That's the CM108 chipset, and these are the headphone and microphone inputs, headphone out, microphone in, that you would have for plugging your junk into. So what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of these two little plugs on the end because you don't need them. We're going to remove a couple of little components from there, and then we'll add a couple of wires to it so that everything comes out. And when all's said and done, you've got a USB interface. So anyway, stick around, and that's what we're going to get into today. So come on and enjoy the ride. All right, what we're going to do first is let's actually take a closer look at it. Okay, so let me transition here. Okay, check out the microscope view, and I'm going to use a little ballpoint pen that's terrible. Okay, this is obviously the USB end. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to attach an old junk USB cable that everybody's got, 10 of them floating around in a drawer. Your power, ground, your data. Honestly, I can't remember at this time exactly which one's which, so we'll get into that later. If we take and this right here, that's the CM108, and my lighting is not the best, but anyway, believe me, that's the CM108. It says it on there. If I can get the light somewhere, you get the idea. But anyway, what we're going to have to do, you're going to need a fine tip soldering iron, because what we're going to do is everything works completely backwards than what I'm pointing at here. The very last pin right here and the very last pin right here, you will have to attach wire to that, and you'll have to solder it on. A very fine tip soldering iron is what's required. Steady hand helps. I obviously don't have the steadiest hand in the world, but it helps. It's not as bad as you think. And I can move it again. It's hard to do under a microscope. All right, there's where's it at? R6, which is this one right here, and R7, which is this one right here. We're going to remove those two, and C6, which is this big capacitor here, we're going to remove that as well. Okay, pulling the bias voltage off of the lines, and honestly, I'm not even sure why. That's I'll link to it in the description. The actual instructions. It's not my doing. I'm just doing what somebody else is doing. I want to get that perfectly clear. This is not me. All right. I'm just following along what other people have done. Okay. And then these two connectors here, obviously that one says mic, and that one say, I think it says right there, speaker. Yeah. So we're gonna remove these two plugs assemblies right here. This is best to be done with a hot air rework station. You can do it other ways, but you'll screw the pads up. It's best to do them with a hot air rework so that you can get these to flow nice and get them off the board without damaging the circuit board. So anyway, that's what we've got. That's what we've got to play with. It's real small work. Again, a fine tip soldering iron, good clean iron, and is a must. A rework station is not required, but is very good to have. I mean, come on now, they're like what, $100, $120 on Amazon. Everybody should have a solder station. So, all right, we'll get into that, and we'll start doing it. All right, got hot air running, probably here. Anyway, if you see it, I've got it set on 290. You can see it behind me there. And what we're going to do is we're going to remove these two pads first. Get the boom mic out of my way. All right. Not sure if you can see, probably saw it in the video. I have to look again. This pad right here, it lifted. I hope the trace is okay. It looks okay, but this pad lifted. So what I did was, once everything was once everything else was out of the way, what I did was I just got this hot again with the hot air and set it back down on the board. I think it's okay, but well, we'll have to find out here in a little bit. So go to the next step here in just a second. Now, next thing you got to do is this trace right here in the middle. This one that goes between these two. You have to cut that. I've got an old nasty X-Acto knife, but here. Anyway, a sharp knife, X-Acto knife is a way to do. Box cutter will do. You need a razor blade. Cut this trace. See if I can get this. There you go. See how that trace is cut right across there? The two center contacts on that side. Just verify with a voltmeter and ohms that there's no continuity between those two when you're done. Now I'm going to attempt to do this under a microscope with everything in the way, the camera, everything else. And what we're going to do is we're going to remove, see if I can get R6, R7 to start with. So best way to do that is with your iron. There's crap off over here. With your iron, a little bit of solder on it. Let's see if I can do this. Maybe, maybe not. We get one side to lift. See, that side's hot. See, I'm pulling solder from the other side. It's not good. A little bit of pressure on it. Damn mess out of it. Yeah, that's not pretty. We'll have to clean that one up. Let's go ahead and get rid of R6 first. Maybe that'll come off a little bit better. I hope. It's usually not a big deal. I'm trying to do this under the microscope with everything in the way. It's not working out. You get it hot enough and the little thing will actually stick to the friggin' iron when it comes off. It's got to transfer heat to the other side. See it there on the end of the soldering iron? Try to clean those pads up a little bit. That looks pretty bad. That's not bridged. That looks alright. Not the prettiest in the world, but you get the idea. You just got to remove those two components. Looks like it might be a little bridge right across there. So let's clean that up. Let's see here. God, that looks like crap, doesn't it? Sorry, it'll work. Who cares? Alright. The other thing you gotta do is C6. You gotta take that one off. Same way, but at least this one's a little bit bigger. Put a little bit of solder on the iron. Hold that down there. We're going to go maximum heat on that, and same way. Basically, you're going to heat up the entire component. Take this off. Heat up that side. There we go. Let's just clean those pads up. There we go. Okay. see while it's under a microscope, you see this one pad where I pulled off the jack. There we go. Make that nice and pretty again. Those are okay. That looks like crap. But it is what it is. Pro tip. You're going to need a USB cord, okay, to plug into your Pi, all right, and attach to the sound file. So everybody's got a extra USB cord for something they don't have anymore in their junk drawer. Okay. I don't recommend using one of the really pencil thin cords. Definitely don't use one of the ones with cloth. They're just a pain in the butt to work with. This one's a little bit larger cord. The pro tip: use the larger cord, and since you're getting rid of the whatever is on the other end, you need the USB-A to plug into your Pi. But whatever is on the other end, you don't need that. But cut yourself out a little section of wire, okay? Because the wire that's in this is really small, and that's what you're going to need to do the next connections. So you'll see what I mean here in a minute. All right, now we're going to solder on the wire for the COS. This is where it gets a little hairy. So first thing I want to do is I want to attach to this pad right here, okay? Good enough. And we're also going to need to attach the PTT. I like to attach this end first. That way it's kind of anchored down. See how that pad's still lifted? That's not good. There we go. And it's still lifted. So that's not good. It's not good at all. We're going to have to do something with that because it's not going to, it's just going to rip off of it. So let's go ahead and put it on that pad, which is not a lot better. But honestly, all we're doing is we're just making a contact point for the other leads. So it's not ultra critical, but still not good. All right, anybody want to see if I can take bets on if I screw this up? All right, see how I've got the wire laid down right next to the pin? So let me get a little solder on my iron. Too much on my iron. There we go. That's our COS wire attached. Okay. All right. We'll take bets on whether or not I can screw this one up. With that the pad acting the way it is, I'll mess that up because it's making it really difficult for this wire. Wow. Look at that. We got it. I don't believe that. Here, we're doing our receive audio, and I'm doing this for a repeater. So I've got two different cables. If you're doing this for a simplex link or something, you can use one cable. And man, it's hard to do this under a microscope. So that's our receive audio lead, and I came up through the board right there so that I can pull this tight, and it'll help keep that other one from moving that I pulled the pad on. So next I'm gonna hook up my ground, right, and my COS line, which is actually going to go on the other side over here, and then you'll see the finished product when I'm done. Basically, you're just hooking up your leads, and I'll explain everything once I get it all done a little bit better. Let's see what we got here. All right, we've got our PTT line right there. All right, because I messed up the solder pads. Yeah, my bad. All right, that runs the red line coming from the left. All right, actually goes to the center pad. It should go to that front pad, but since I've done messed it up, it doesn't matter. Those two pads are connected together. All right, and then the red line coming out that goes into our bundle, that's our PTT line going to the rig. Okay, we've got our receive audio line right here. All right, that goes out into the bundle. We've got our grounds for both receive and transmit there. All right, then here off the center on the top is the COS line off the receiver. All right, and off the speaker, that's our transmit audio right there. We've got to put the resistor on, the 1K resistor, which honestly I forgot. I had it sitting here, but forgot all about it. Kind of, I guess, important. I don't know. It will work without it. I've built them without it, but I believe it helps with the audio quality a little bit. To be honest with you, I don't really know exactly what it does, but it's going between these last two pads, which of course the last one is ground. Yeah. Ain't the prettiest in the world, but it's on there. Like Prego, it's in there. What we're going to do now is we're going to take and we're going to put just a drop of solder on each one of these pads. Okay, so it's in my iron. See if I can do this while watching the scope. It's kind of wild. All right, so I've prepared my pads here. So we've got our ground up here, and I've tied, I don't know if you can see it, I've tied the shield. This cable's got a shield to it. Got the float there. Need my green wire next. I can do this here. This is really awkward to do this with the microphone in my way, the other light in my way, the microscope in my way, and doing it through here. This is awkward as anything. Not as easy as talking about it, I guess. See, then I get in the way of the light. The wire gets in the way. Get on there. There. That's just awkward. And our white wire. Look at that nice hair hanging out of that one. Isn't that great? I'm gonna have to clean that up. So we can even get it bent the way I want it to here. And get it back in the camera. Ow! Iron's hot. Dang, Brad, you're done. There's an old reference if anybody remembers that one. Boy, isn't that pretty? That's some pretty work right there, I tell you. And 5 volts. There. I clean that little hair out of it. That ain't the prettiest job in the world now, I tell you what. By golly, but she's gonna work thing. Is to go steal your wife's hot glue gun. But we want to make sure that the stuff that's on the board doesn't come loose, okay? So what we're going to do, we'll go back to this one here. And we're going to put hot glue across the wires there. Some hot glue across that whole thing so that doesn't move. You kind of can't go wrong with it. It's there. So that don't move. Blob. Really gonna put some there because I messed that pad up. And we'll put some on there just for good measure. All the way around. Nothing's gonna short out. Nothing's going to come loose. What I wanted to do here is real quick. I got my little HT. I've got the sound card hooked up to a repeater that I've got here in the shack. One of them. Just kind of plugged it in, just make sure it works before we finish up everything. Okay, so what we've got here is me up in this corner up here. Yay, me. Anyway, down here, if you see, you got the sorry again, I gotta look at my screen. I can't really look at y'all. Just viewing the telemetry from it. So when I key the HT, another repeater going off, my other repeater here. All right, so when I key the HT, you'll be able to see the COS. I've got the echo mode enabled, so you'll be able to see the COS gets keyed. PTT keys, again, it's for a repeater. Like there, and want to let off, so we can do this and here, and I need to bump that up, so that's 150. Let's just put it back up to there. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. And the winding is from this really great HT. All right, so we've got it all done. We're built, tested, everything else. Here's finished product. So we've got that. This has got a big piece of heat shrink on it, and the cable, the USB cable right here. Just your standard USB. On this end, since it is built for a repeater, there's two cables coming out. One's TX, one's RX, with two different radios. Same thing applies if you're just making a node. You just have one cable. But that's it. So that is a $10 sound card and a little bit of time, a little bit of patience, a little bit of time, and you've got an interface for Allstar. All right. Let me know what you think down below, and we'll catch you next time. 7-3 KG4FJC.